All right, so after a 6-touchdown performance by Josh Allen, we've seen it reported over and over that he's the only player in history to be able to do that. And then I saw on ESPN the other day that in 1954, in a championship game, someone else had done that before. Let's start there on this.
Yeah, so he's the first person to do it in the regular season. I think that's why they called him the first. So Otto Graham did it for the Browns in the 1954 championship game. Talk about, playing your best on that day. Holy crap. Like, that's
70 years
ridiculous.
ago.
I know, but still. And I don't know, maybe it was a little easier back then, but I guess Otto Graham I think he's a 10-time NFL champion, because I think that's when the Browns were just winning them every single year. And look, the level of competition probably isn't what it is now. And what you have, maybe 10 teams back then. So, Paul Brown and that team were, class above everybody else. And Otto Graham was one of the primary beneficiaries. So, yeah, I mean, it's a landmark game for Josh, no question. And, when you're talking MVP, it's no surprise that he's moved to the top of the list in terms of all the betting odds on league MVP, because I think we all know that what you have to try to win that, you've got to have signature moments. B, you've got to have some of those signature moments or performances in nationally televised games, whether it's a national window game at 4:00 or primetime games. And he has those. I would argue he's got two signature plays: the 4th and 2 26-yard touchdown run against the Chiefs to hand them their first loss of the season. So the magnitude of the play in the game and the opponent, that's kind of like a trifecta right there. And then he doubles down the following week and has the pylon run on the improvised play against the 49ers on national television again. And then this past week, the 6-touchdown game. So the resume is chock full of stuff that you need to pull that off. I think Barkley's his next closest competition, because he's got some signature moments too, leaping backwards over a defender. I've never seen that in my life. I don't think anybody else has either. If you look at the best part about that highlight, if you watch it, if the shot is wide enough on the highlight, because I saw one there are 7 guys on I think it's the Philly sideline, that are all putting their hands on their head right after he does it. If that's not an indication, I don't know what is. And then the 255-yard game he had against the Rams, that's on Sunday Night Football, including a 72-yard touchdown run. So he's got a pretty full resume too. But I think if he's going to overtake Josh, I think he's got to flirt with Dickerson's rushing record, because the last running back to win it was Adrian Peterson in 2012, and he went over 2,000 yards. I think he's got to clear 2,000 to get a sniff at it. And even then, we have to remember he's got an extra game to do it in with the 17-game schedule.
Right. Yeah. And to me, Josh would have to really falter these next 4 weeks to give anyone a shot at it. I mean, right now, I feel like he's got it locked up, even if he just plays pretty good football the rest of the way. I think that's a fair assumption. The betting odds would tell you the exact same right now. And Josh has had one heck of a season. He truly has. And my favorite part about it is it's not these, comeback. We need, last week, yes, you're going to get those 400-yard games when you have to play every second of the game. You're down 3 scores. That's the only time this year that it's been a stat padding game. The rest of it's just been him playing efficient football. And he's been taken out of a lot of games as well, or they've just taken their foot off the pedal and ran the ball in the fourth quarter. So all the people that are out there saying, well, and now he does lead the league in total touchdowns, but prior to this week, he didn't. And he doesn't lead the league in passing yards a game. He's kind of middle of the pack. But a major reason for that is because they've been in control of so many football games.
Yeah, and I've got to check, because I want to say Burrow just passed him on Monday night. So I think he's got a touchdown or two. I think he might be a touchdown or two up on him, because I was just checking it the other day after the Monday night game. The other thing, too, is that I'm going to be annoyed if he doesn't get it and another quarterback does, who's already got a couple, is because last year the narrative was, well, Lamar's team is 14-2, or however they finished, 14-3, and they got the number 1 seed in the AFC. His stats didn't measure up to Josh's, but they said, well, what he's done for his team is more valuable. Well, Josh is doing that exact thing now, and now Lamar's got the stats or at least he had the stats. And Josh didn't because he was playing more within the structure of the offense. And to your point, he's only playing 3 quarters and a couple of blowout wins. And it's like, well, if you give it to Lamar again, it's like, come on. Like, you can't change the criteria that you just used last year and give it to Lamar this year when he's got the numbers and Josh has the team with the record. So I don't know. It's hard to get a handle on what the flavor of the year is for what makes an MVP.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. I don't think he could lose it at this point. I'm just going to
Yeah.
go ahead and say it. I don't think he can lose it.